Quick show of hands. How many people here have ever dated two people at the same time? This is interesting. The girls outnumber the guys by about 10 to 1. I think that's a combination of opportunity and consequences. But for the minority, I have a tell my own experience. It was a junior year in high school. My parents had rented a cabin on the shores of Lake Ontario for the summer. And about 15 cabins, white sand beach. Mom's down at the beach with the kids during the day. And during the evening, the teenagers took it over. And the wiser parents stayed home and the teenagers did what they did down there. And my plan for the summer was to take advantage of whatever opportunities came my way. And sure enough, the second weekend there, I met Leah. And I know I'm going to date myself by this comparison, but Leah was like a young Elizabeth Taylor. Mid-sized, curvy, plenty of possibility. But she was younger than me. She was only a sophomore. But aptly named was Leah Take. And Leah was not into giving at that point. But she had me take her for pizza, she had me take her to the movies, she had me take her out in the boats for sailing, you name it. And I was patient. We had all summer long, and there's definitely gold in them there hills. But about two weeks into my go slow program, Leah comes to me and says, "My dad's taking us away." So what are you talking about? He says, "There's some airline price war, Freddie Laker or something, and he's taking us to Europe. We gotta go." So, okay, next morning Leah's gone. And as the things teed up there, I picked out, the cream of the crop. And now, number 2, 3, and 4 are all taken. And I got a whole summer ahead of me. Things aren't working out too well. But then I got lucky. About 3 days later, the Tate's cabin, which was empty, a car pulled up, and this family got out, and it was Leah's cousins. And not just her cousins, but her cousin Evelyn, who was just as attractive as Leah, but in that kind of older girl California style. Tall, long blonde hair, looked her right in the eye and said, "I got my program for the summer too." And she was older, she was 18. She had a car, she could get booze. She was gonna go to college in a couple of weeks, and she was just gonna practice her charms on whoever was available to kind of hone her act for the big stage, the big game. And she picked me. I was up for it. So fast forward. We had a whole month down at the beach in the evening. She was into buying wine, which was crazy. But she had she was 18, and we split bottles of wine instead of beer or whatever boys usually do. And things went great, and I don't need to go into any great detail. Until the week before the end of the summer. And I'm walking up the driveway of this little enclave, and here comes a very familiar looking car. You guessed it, Leah's family is back. And they drive right up to the cabin where her cousins are, and I know I'm screwed. But Leah and Evelyn are gonna talk. So I took one of those bottles of wine that Evelyn had bought, and I went down to the beach, and I drank it. I figured, my time's coming. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's not gonna be good, and I'll just wait. And it got dark, and sure enough, coming down the path, I see these two figures, and it's like, they didn't come together, did they? And they hadn't. But it was worse. The first figure was Leah's little brother, Billy. Billy's about 13. He's nothing to worry about. But the man standing next to him is about 6'5", probably mid-20s, Ohio State linebacker type. And Billy says, "This is my cousin, Savage." And Savage just looks at me like, you know, this is gonna be fun. And I'm sitting by this open pit fire, and I can see what Savage had in mind. So I grab a rock. You know, I'm not going easy. You know, I can read this script, but it isn't gonna, you know, play out quickly. And he just snarls at me. He said, "Put that down, punk." And Billy said, "No, Jim, it's not gonna be like that." It's like, "Okay, what's it gonna be like, Billy?" And he said, "They just want you to choose." Really? That's it? I just have to choose? I said, "Okay." I look at Savage, and he looks at me and he says, "Yeah, but you better pick the right one." And it's like, you know, in a way it's a no-brainer. You know, Evelyn was a lot of fun, but she's going off to college next week. Leah is the future. And as I said, there's gold in them there. So I said, well, you know, it's a tough decision, but, you know, if I have to decide, I pick Leah. And Savage kind of snarls at me. He said, "You're shitting me." And I said, "No," and I explained, you know, the rational decision is to go with the future. He looks at me and he says, "You want me to tell her that?" I said, "Well, you know, you make this is not a kind of decision you can make with your head and your heart. It's one or the other." And the head says what it says. He said, "You want me to tell her that?" I said, "No, but tell her the truth. If I had to do it twice, and I had to make the decision with my heart instead of my head, then as between the two Tate girls, Evelyn is my favorite mistake."